So good evening, everybody. To everyone who's already joined us, we'll be starting super shortly in about a minute or two. Hope everyone's doing well.
Good evening, ma'am.
Oh, great. So we have Dr. Mighty with us as well. So I think,
Yeah,
sir, we
ma'am.
can.
Sorry for coming late. Actually, I was doing some other job. I was busy on that. So,
Yeah,
very sorry for
let's
that.
get started.
Okay, sir. You can please proceed, sir. Okay.
All right. A very good evening to one and all present and who have joined us very kindly on this special webinar on Industry 4.0, COVID-19, and the emerging challenges of education. I think this is a great platform for all of us to discuss and learn from each other. What are the challenges that are being faced by educators during this time? I'd like to thank all the faculty members from other educational institutions who have joined us, as well as principals, as well as other educators. Thank you so much for joining us today. To give you a brief introduction of our speakers today, we are joined by Dr. Atish Chattopadhyay, who is the Vice Chancellor of Vijayabhumi University and the Director of IFM Business School at Bangalore. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. We are also very kindly joined by Dr. Saikat Maiti from GIS University, who is the HOD at the School of Engineering and Technology at GIS University. And very shortly, we'll also be joined by Professor Praveen Mishra, who is the Dean at Vijayabhumi School of Design at Vijayabhumi University. So big thank you to all our speakers for joining us and to take our time to share their perspectives with us. So before we start the session, may I please invite Dr. Saikat Maiti to share, what would he like, what are his expectations from the session today, and what are the broad questions that he'd want that we should address in this session today. Over to you, Dr. Maiti, if we could hear from you.
Yeah, thank you, Kritika. Thank you, Dr. Ashish Chattopadhyay. Thank you, Professor Praveen Mishra, and the other dignitaries who are present over here. So it was really a wonderful opportunity for us to share our problems along with the share of our students' thoughts so far as per the education is concerned. Actually, what we people are expecting from you that, as you know, that we are under a tremendous threat of COVID-19, and the entire nation is struggling for it. And as you know that during this period, it's a lockdown period, and within this period, many of the students, they are adapting the digital platform, as well as they are also liking this particular environment to set up with. But many threats are there also. As you know that many of our students, they are from the very rural means very rural places, even though they don't have any kind of means good internet connection, and they are eager to learn with the help of this digital platform, but still they cannot able to reach us, whether by using the YouTube, the other platforms which we are using in our university. Even we are using Zoom also. We are having our own platform also in the university, but still people are feeling that there is something missing in the digital world, a kind of attachment to the faculty members, the attachment to their friends, along with every time they are struggling at the home, every time they are doing studies, not apart from studies, they cannot able to do anything apart from that. Keep watching TVs for 24 hours, it's not possible. Keep surfing the internet for 24 hours, that is not possible. Even they cannot able to go out. So it is a kind of biggest threat for them, as well as it is a kind of a bit of nervousness is coming from their end, that sir, what we will do, what will be the industry it is going towards, whether they're going towards this digital education, which education we are looking for, which is not very comfortable for us, but it is somehow it is comfortable right now, it is comfortable. But for a long run, maybe it is not comfortable for them because of the lack of infrastructure. You know, If the West Bengal will be a planned and smart city, then we can able to serve them in very rural areas as well as the urban areas and the cities. But those who are staying at the very remote places, even they cannot able to contact with us, even they cannot able to connect with us. Along with that, they are having one more fear in their mind that, sir, if this kind of thing will go on for a long time, is there any threat about the opportunities, the job opportunities which we are looking for? Even people are looking towards the industry ready, industry 4.0, and we are also learning many things. But the thing is that if the opportunities will not come to us, how we can able to means crack the interviews, how we can able to go for the jobs, and etc. These are the many questions. These are the just the few questions I have shared with you, Kritika. There are many questions that are means raising from their mind that what is our future, sir? What is going to be happen? How we can give the exams? Whether we can skip the exams, we will give the exams, or we don't know, sir, what to do for the next. We are studying, that is okay, but whether we have been promoted without exam, whether the exam will go on for the online purpose, if it will go for the online purpose, how the 100% of the students can able to achieve it or attend it. See, there are a lot of pros and cons are coming from the students, and we cannot able to regret that, because somehow we are thinking that that is partially true. Though we are in the digital world, but still we cannot able to reach 100%, because cent percent, the word cent percent, if it is not exactly cent percent, we cannot able to neglect two three people, because for a doctor, if you go for surgery for 99 patients you can cure, but if one patient will go out, definitely your whole image will be hampered. Okay, so that's why we people are thinking, or we are really eager to means hear from you what kind of solution from the other part you people are thinking for the students, so that the students can able to mitigate this gap, along with
Understood.
able to they can able to means free up their mind, and they can able to say that yes, we are comfortable, sir. Okay, whatever you will do, we'll proceed on that line. So it's over to you, sir.
Understood. Now the challenge is, twofold. As you said, one is the access to the to a large group of students. That is the first question that you asked. Second, the whole issue of the uh, how student engagement can happen, which is the learning. And the third, the whole issue of assessment, as to how we appear for the exams and what kind of assessments will happen. And lastly, and more importantly, what kind of career opportunities can be created. Okay, these are the four key questions. It's a privilege to have also Praveen with me. He's actually joining from one of the remotest, in not so a city area. But however, the experience that we have here is I think to a great extent, there was already a proactive involvement in terms of how the pedagogy is going to evolve going forward. Now, if we proactively think that the pedagogy of tomorrow is not just limited to classroom, and it will be a combination of class plus remote learning, I think that is the way in which we would like to probably look at it. I would request Praveen here, because he is actually delivering in a very interesting course, which is the more difficult part. See, if we look at education, there are three important aspects. One is the knowledge, second is the skill, and third is the attitude, what we call the KSA framework, on knowing, doing, being. Now, knowledge part, to deliver knowledge, which is normally done in the classroom, to a great extent can be delivered through by the use of technology. But challenge probably is when there is a lab-based learning. Now, can you remotely replace the experience of working in a physics lab or a chemistry lab? The answer is probably no. Okay, because you cannot replicate that. What can be replicated is, what is done usually in a classroom kind of a scenario. Okay. Certain other aspects which happens in a workshop mode where there is skill building, suppose a design workshop, a art workshop, those are again challenges. Now, how do we overcome these challenges? The first thing that we did is the fact that we were very fortunate because we were already thinking that the pedagogy will be a combination of technology driven remote learning plus campus based learning. And hence we were investing in the technology where our executive programs are already being delivered through a combination of remote learning plus in campus sessions. So for us to migrate to a platform where the students can access our sessions synchronized all online, which is real sessions, real time, was feasible. But our experience shows that because we get students from 23 states almost and from remotest areas, okay, the access to technology is there because 100% of them are having a mobile phone. I think, and the handset today is the most important device. If somebody is having a handset, I think the knowledge can be accessed. And to some extent, to a great extent, skills can be also accessed. Before coming to the assessment part, I would request Praveen, who actually conducted a very interesting workshop, which is to make people learn drawing, which is like something which has to be really done, okay, a doing skill. And he had almost 400 plus participants in his class, which is right now he's conducting. And hence I thought it will be interesting if Praveen can share his thought. Praveen, by the way, is a postgraduate from NID Ahmedabad, graduate of the Art College from Kolkata, has been in MICA in Ahmedabad for more than 7 years before joining our school. So over to you, Praveen, if you can share how you are conducting the workshop, which he calls as ABCD, anybody can draw.
Thank you so much, sir. It's my privilege to be part of such an important discussion when we are dealing with such a situation in the world and trying to figure out ways to make our time meaningful and also kind of figure out ways what's going to happen in future. So as Atisar correctly said, this is one learning which basically requires a lot of interaction. Like if somebody draws something, a drawing teacher has to go and correct it or probably kind of show a better way of doing that, right? And when you have hundreds of participants, then how do you do that? Like how do you even dare to even begin something like this, which will fall flat and probably next day nobody would come in, right? So the whole idea was to try it out because these are the times when we actually experiment, right? So the task with our IT team, which is extraordinarily competent, and they actually figured out a way. It's a platform called Impartus, and they actually demonstrated me, said, okay, this is how you can interact. You can usually all the participants are muted by default. Then whoever you want to bring in, you unmute that person. It's almost like similarly how it happens in Zoom, but then in much different, much better way because in Zoom also has limitations in terms of numbers and other things. So anyway, Zoom works in certain ways, Impartus works in some other ways, and there are other interesting platforms that's coming up. We'll also shift to some new platforms now. So what I'm saying is how we started is it was an introduction first day where I just spoke. So it was more like a lecture. The first day was just a one-way communication. So it was easy because there's a little bit of drawing I showed that was in the first few minutes, or maybe like sometime in the middle. But that's okay. Just showing a bit of drawing and talking a lot works, because then you're in a broadcasting mode. The challenge happens when it's interactive. So there are many ways the student could show their drawings. One way is when I unmute them, they actually show whatever they draw. They actually put it in front of me so that I can see the drawing. I can make that participant full screen. And sometimes what I do, I freeze the frame, and that's where the beauty comes in. I freeze the frame, and then the software, the technology allows me to draw on top of it, right? I use my stylus pen, and I actually draw. I have a touch screen. Fortunately, I have a touch screen laptop which allows. So technology is there. It's just that how we use it. And when I correct those things, then what happens is people get to know, okay, that's where the problem happens. And trust me, things like perspective, which is 1-point perspective and 2-point perspective, is extremely technical thing, right? In art schools and design schools, it comes much later. Like, it doesn't come in the first 2 semesters. It comes a little later when things people get used to with drawing and seeing things. And in just probably 5th class or 6th class, which my classes are of 45 minutes, I just had no idea if how it is going to work, but the kind of things that I've heard from the participants, some of them never actually learned drawing before, and they were participating, and they said, like, we started seeing things differently, and that was so emotional moment for me. And the entire Vijay Bhumi team, in fact, Atish sir and Sanjay sir, I think they gave a green nod saying, like, go ahead and do it. And that itself was such a huge risk. And today I'm having participants. There are filmmakers in it. There are established architects in it. There are retired professionals, army persons in it. And there are housewives. There are children as young as 5-year-old participating. And they shared their drawings. And they are from different parts. There are few participants from Philadelphia. There are some from Paris. There are participants from different parts of US and even Australia. And that's what makes it so interesting. And they interact when they show drawing, and they say, this is, this time here, and I'm awake and I'm showing this. All those little things becomes much more interesting. Yeah. So yes. So so it was a very interesting experiment that we did, and that actually gave us a lot of confidence to try out these newer tools that is available online. Yes, there will be issues in terms of connectivity. Sometimes many people say that they're struggling to connect. Sometimes IT team from our side actually helps that person. Many times, because connection is low, you cannot really do much about it, right? All those things are done. There's a little clippings in terms of testimonials. In fact, today in the morning, I actually requested some of the students, because of this webinar that is scheduled, that can you just send whatever you felt or feeling about this whole thing, like participating in ABCD with Praveen. So I'm requesting Pradeep to whoever is hosting this to play some testimonials. Let's watch this. Let's mute ourselves and watch this, and let's see. Let's react after this. Yeah. Thank you so much, Pradeep. Carry on. I'm muting myself. Pradeep, we can't hear it, so maybe audio has to be put.
Hi, myself Malavika. I'm from Kerala. I've been attending ABCD with Pravi. So when the lockdown was announced, I was a little bit sad because I didn't know what to do. So my uncle introduced this program to me, and I went through the promo video, and I felt it very interesting. So I registered, and I felt it as an ordinary classroom, because before the teacher comes, all the students talks to each other, and when the teacher comes, we say good morning, sir, and we can ask questions, and the teacher solves that doubt and all. I felt it as an ordinary classroom, and sir taught us to see things differently. I still remember after the perspective class, I have started to see things differently. My room was packed with interesting things for me. There were all lines coming there and here, and there was vanishing point there, and everything has changed totally for me. And when I say I am taking class online for drawing, people ask, drawing online? So what I have to say to them is ABCD with Praveen is a success story of online drawing class. And now when I am sitting here and sharing my views with you, what I think is light is coming from here, and this much is a light portion, and here it is darker. And my total thinking process has changed after this class. That's what I have to say. Sir, Professor Praveen Mishra, sir has taught us to see things differently. So indeed, this class has made me to think like a artist. That's what I have to say. So thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Tara. I'm 10 years old and I love drawing. During the classes with Praveen, I learned a lot like gesture drawing, object drawing, 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective, and more. It was a lot of fun and I had a great time learning. I'm looking forward to learning a lot more. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Prashant, a design and communications professional and a beneficiary of this great initiative called ABCD with Praveen. I can't really thank him enough for this opportunity to learn with him. As a design professional, I feel if a designer is not able to draw well, at some point of time, he feels handicapped. Despite of being using the latest technology, tools and equipments, there are some days when we really feel the need of hand drawing. And when one is not able to do that, it really feels bad and frustrating. And ABCD with Praveen is helping me to get out of that feeling. I'm really learning a lot with these classes. And for those who are not into design profession, this is a great engagement activity. It's a great skill development opportunity. And a great stress buster in these tough times. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. So I just want to thank Praveen sir again and again for this lovely initiative. Lucky to be a part of it. Thank you so much. And yes, I just wish if technology could enable us someday that physical touch that is missing. It feels really good to have a pat on the back when you do a good job, especially when it comes from Praveen sir. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's about it. So in the sense that gives you a gist of what people are feeling. What is missing is that technology doesn't allow us to give a pat on the back. I think that's what Prashant actually says at the end of it. The first two persons, they're absolutely strangers to me. Prashant, I knew from past. And I believe that gives you some insight in terms of how technology allows us to connect and share certain knowledge. Yeah. So I will rest now and allow the interaction to happen.
Sir, I just wanted to ask you one question here. If you may just want to throw some light that as a teacher, as a faculty member, how have you managed to, change your teaching style when you have moved to an online platform? I think from, all of us can gain immensely from your perspective on that, some pointers from your end on how we can change our teaching styles for the online platform.
Kritika, it's very interesting how it happens because see in the classroom what happens is there's a huge eye contact and you walk into the class and then you actually see if somebody is interested, somebody is not interested, and you basically pay attention to people who are not interested. And so all those things that is in this platform that is very difficult to achieve, right? Because you are not you can't have eye contacts with so many of them, right? If it's a small class, yes, everybody can see each other, everybody can talk to each other. So that's one thing. For me, I have to kind of mentally train myself. So, okay, I'm actually, nobody's in front of me. It's just I'm keeping my laptop on a chair. I'm standing, there's an easel behind me, and I'm drawing, talking. So every time I'm drawing on the easel, I'm actually looking at the screen and saying that if the view is correct or not. Those little adjustments I had to do. Plus, there's something called, which any filmmaker would understand, there's something called real time and real time. So the real time is often compressed. So for example, in a real class, you can take a little pause, you can sit there, flip a few pages. When you are online, I think that gap becomes very difficult, that suddenly the interest would drop if there's a gap. So all those little things, but there's no major shift in terms of my teaching style that I had to do, but have to remember that there are people, you have to keep them interested, and also you have to constantly check, is your audio correct? Like the chat box, they keep, oh, your audio is breaking, then suddenly you have to come close to the laptop and speak. All those things you don't have to worry when you have in a classroom, right? So this is, I believe, is just a transition phase that happened in the first couple of classes, but then it changed when I right now it comes very naturally, and it doesn't even feel like. So I'm saying, like, to adapt to this a new format was extremely easy for me, and I believe it will be easy for most of us.
Yeah, so at this point, I also would like to request Dr. Atish to share his views, because we all know that Dr. Atish, when he takes his lessons, he is so used to, using a board, like a lot of our faculty members. So if we could invite Dr. Atish to share his perspective as a, teacher, how do you keep the engagement of the students? How do you ensure that they're interested while you're doing the lectures? And how do you change from suddenly being using a board professor to, being on the digital medium? Atish, so over to you.
So first of all, yes, it's a very interesting observation that I normally, is a board teacher, chalk and board. Okay. And one of the jokes that used to move around about me was that this person is actually scared of an animal called mouse. Okay. Now, the challenge here was, of course, it's a question of a mindset. Okay. And when I visited abroad, particularly, I found that a lot of schools have moved online, and the online programs were becoming popular. And one of the things that happened here when I came to Bangalore, I found that there was some degree of, because Bangalore being Bangalore, I think one of the major advantage was that this tech orientation was already there among the, the group, which I can say, having lived in so many cities, around 7 cities in the country, I think the tech orientation was here. So first of all, we have to understand that there has to be a proactiveness, whether we like it or not, there will be some disruption. Okay. And if I look at today's scenario, what is the challenge? Challenge is, even if the lockdown gets over, the social distancing will continue. And if the social distancing continues, we will probably not have a class of 60 anymore, at least for 1 to 2 years time. If that is the case, then we have to find out a way where the engagement can happen. At the same time, to a great extent, what is otherwise delivered to classroom can happen. Now, two things, we went for there are a number of platforms. Of course, a lot of people are also using Zoom as a teaching medium. Okay. So I think there has to be combination. First of all, as the first question came up, that if there are people who are remotely located, okay, and maybe at that point in time lost the connection, will I miss the class? So there has to be a combination. For us, for lecture, we use the imparters. When we did the lecture, just like what we are doing right now, and just like this is being recorded, so anybody missing a lecture, which is a live lecture, has the option to go back to the LMS, and we use a very commonly available LMS, which is Moodle. Now all our teaching, what we call materials, which is the study material, the course outlines of the syllabus, and also the recorded lectures are there right there on the LMS. So in case somebody is having a challenge with connectivity, can go back and see what they have missed out at any point in time. So that is the advantage from a student's perspective. So from a student's perspective, Even if I miss the lecture at that point in time, I can go back later on and view the lecture. I think that advantage was there because of the LMS. All the teaching resources are uploaded on the LMS, whether it is an outline, whether it is a study material, whether it is a PPT which the faculty might have used, all that. From a faculty's perspective, the challenge was to adjust to this. However, the platform allows us to use a PPT, do the board work. For example, if I have to show just now, okay, now if I have to show it just now, I am showing a PPT. I can do clearly, I can use my stylus and do the board work. Now, those are the adjustments which became very important for a faculty. I can immediately add a slide over here, okay, a new slide if I want to, and I can do board work the way I want to, okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever I want to, I can do. Now the question is, these adjustments were to be made as a faculty when I am teaching, okay. I can conduct a poll there, okay. All that were very much feasible using, it may not be the same board in the classroom, but somebody has to really practice, okay. I think that was the key change which happened when we did the transition. And of course, we can we can share screen, we can do the same Excel kind of a work over there in the board. I think this is the minor adjustment in terms of teaching that I had to do. If there is any question at this point in time, I would like to take that.
Yeah, Atish, I have got a question. The thing
Yeah.
is that from the the deliverables part, whosoever is the part they are giving the deliverable to the students, that is all right, because we people are each and every day we are changing our technologies, we are changing our teaching pedagogy as per the AICT is concerned. As you know that MBA accreditation is also focusing on outcome based education, where exactly you need to focus on lifelong learning. So in that
Okay.
case, we people are always dealing with the lifelong learning and keep changing the technologies time to time. That is all right. But think about the students, those who are they are uh, there are certain kind of students, those who are very smart. Even they can use lot of gadgets, lot of smartphones, having the stylus, having the handheld devices, PDA, and so on. Okay, but there are some students, those who are keen to know each and every part of the subject, but they don't have that much of technology. Rather, they are not financially sound. Okay, so that they can able to adapt the technology. Maybe they are having a smartphone, but one smartphone, believe me, one smartphone is not enough to grab the industry 4.0 just in a particular smartphone. Along with that smartphone, one more thing is required, that is the internet connection. Okay, and that internet connection is dealing with a kind of data pack. And as you know that in West Bengal, we are having different tariff plans, we are having different price, where people are having the unlimited connection, as well as people do have used some kind of connections which are having the limited access of data, say 1.5 GB of data each and every day. Okay, now in that case, if I'm having 7 or 8 lectures to that particular student, it is fantastic. From the beginning part or in the morning part, they can able to take the lectures, they can able to go for the video conversation, audio conversation, even go for the slide presentation, everything. Okay, but after 2 3 classes, maybe the data will be exhausted. Even if you keep your sound mute, even if you are keeping your videos off like 720p or 480p, whosoever it is, then also data will be a major concern for them. See, 1.5 GB to 2 GB.
My point here is very simple. See, there is nothing called optimum. What we call is satisficing.
Yes.
So what is it that is the best or optimum given the constraints. Now, I think the data challenge is not a great challenge. If we run a campus-based program, there are costs, we have classrooms, we have to maintain the infrastructure, we have to have the what I call maintenance guys. If I look at the cost of data and even if at a cost of laptop, vis-a-vis the kind of infrastructure that is required to deliver only knowledge, if I have to say, I think that is an issue which can be addressed. If there is availability of technology, access of internet, and access of gadget, the question is that education can be made accessible.
Yes, that is of course.
Okay. So that is the only thing is that there are two approaches. Whether we want to, find a solution, whether we have to live with the problem. You asked me this question regarding assessment, for example, earlier. Now, I have talked about how you can deliver a class, and even if I miss the class, how we can go back and see the recorded lecture, because the LMS is there and my recorded lecture can be uploaded there.
Right.
Okay, all the teaching material I can access.
Right.
Now, the point is that, 6th April onwards, our end-term exams were scheduled. Okay, we ourselves had a challenge. See, it is not just a challenge for student; it is a huge challenge for the faculty. I can tell you, I was taking a class in a 75-minute class. Normally, we have some what we call slack time. Slack time in the sense that there are some discussions which the students do, and anybody who has, when I compare that with when I am teaching online, the degree of preparation required is very, very high, because every minute I have to value.
Yes.
Otherwise I will get disconnected. I cannot crack a joke here.
I accord with you. Right.
Okay. So for a faculty, it's a challenge. Second challenge is also, in a class, not everybody asks the question, because there is always a vocal minority versus a silent majority in a class, because some people are always participating in the class. If we look at an online class, everybody is in the same platform. And the questions, the person who would not like a question to be asked by coming on video will ask you on the chat. And it's a level playing field. So what we observed is the degree of interaction in the online is
much high.
Is much high. Okay, it's a level playing field.
Yes.
And for the faculty, the degree of preparation has to be very, very high. And because your recorded lecture is already there, so next time, if I'm not adding value, the recorded lecture is, they will only access the recorded lecture. So I think the challenge is at faculty and this challenge. Now, second challenge is the exam. And as I said, 6th April was my starting date of the end-term exam. Now, there were two challenges. One is that the exams we wanted to, our normal, what we call reading was that till when this first lockdown was being announced, or the classes got suspended on 15 March, our assumption was till around September, no classes are going to happen. See, for any leader, you have to understand what is going to happen and how things are going to play out. And the reading of the situation was minimum September. So it is no point in postponing an exam, because if we postpone, then the continuity gets lost. Correct. So we decided to go ahead with the exam. Challenge was twofold. One is that the exam has to be online. Second, it has to be proctored, and the sanctity of the exam has to be protected. Okay. Today, you look at it, GRE and GMAT both are being held online and from home. Okay, GRE is also happening from home. GMAT is also happening from home. So we found out a software where, and that is metal basically. So a student can appear for the exam sitting at home. It is proctored because the camera is watching you. Yes. And there is an invigilator which can watch you. You cannot go to any other browser, automatically it closes. Okay. If you lift a phone, okay, then automatically there is a red flag which comes in. So it's a very, I found that it is a far more stronger invigilation system than probably what happens in a class when we actually in exam hall, where it is, it depends. You know that a lot of times the easy invigilator or a strict invigilator, students always talk about it. Here it is a neutral ground, correct? So I think those neutralization has happened. And I am glad.
It's a technology who is invigilating you.
So there were 1708 unit test takers. I had to do a batch meet on 3rd April addressing the class that how it is. On the other hand, we have to also talk to the faculty because you have to upload the question paper on the platform. You need to now evaluate it online. So it was adoption from the perspective of the faculty. It has to be adoption from the perspective of the students and also those who are actually administering the exam. Right. And it is again, if we say that, okay, this is the way we have to go, I think there was no other option in this case. But now we have taken a call, even when the students come back to the campus, even if we do the exam in the exam hall, we will use the same technology. Because the biggest advantage is that the camera is clicking you. Okay. And there is, everybody is on the same page. I think this is the exam part. So if you look at class, exam, both of the issues are addressed. And I think the greater adjustment was from the faculty's end and, less students end. Because students are all, you said that the students are not this thing. I think our students are far smarter. When I was starting this webinar, I had to call my son to fix things. Okay. Right. So our students are far more smarter than what we are.
Right.
Okay. So I think this is a question of two things. One is that the leadership taking a decision that it's going to be a mix of, even after this whole COVID thing is over, a combination of, online plus campus-based learning. And if I have to say the three frameworks, knowing, doing, and being, I think campus will be mostly for the sake of, reflection, where you really think, you interact and all that. Or maybe a lab-based scenario. So it's a physics lab or a leadership lab, both ways. It will happen on campus. But pure knowledge transfer, I don't think after this, if this continues for 1 year, even US are saying that till 2022, this will be continuing, though no campus-based classes will be happening, people will completely get adapted to this.
Yeah, I echoed with you. In that case, we can say that yes, our students, they are smarter enough. Even they love to adopt this particular technology. But I have shown you some of the cases, because being a doctor, you have to address all your patients, right? So for the smarter patients, for the weaker patients, we need to address all. So in that case, I cannot means not to hold a particular student who cannot able to adapt this one. So I'm thinking in that way. I'm only thinking of those weaker.
There are some questions over here.
Yeah.
Kritika, you want to any specific questions that you want?
So actually, I had one question that Dr. Maiti had raised initially. So he had said that, how students are constantly only focusing, either they are watching things or they're only studying. So do you actually want to share your experience at IFM, that how we are also running our, fitness sessions online, and, how we've been still doing our personality enhancement program? Because I think that might be a very interesting thing for you to address for everybody's benefit.
Okay, so there are some questions also, and I think we should be addressing those questions quickly. But see, it is a question of how the engagement can happen. So for example, here we had our gym, Zumba, okay, all these, physical kind of where the basically fitness and wellness. So the question is this, that every morning we allowed our fitness faculty, those who are, the gym instructor and all that, to run, physical fitness sessions as well, whether it is a Zumba or it's a, physical exercises. Now, what happens is that actually warms up the students in the very beginning. you will see that, how we can engage. That is the critical aspect. And these are all live sessions. Now, also the faculty has to proactively take involvement. Now, and I normally don't do it, but I decided to post one of my own photographs of doing yoga. Now the students also that then in that sense know that, okay, the faculty is also equally involved. So if we know that this is the new reality or the new normal, okay, and it is up for us to keep ourselves engaged, and it is not that students are separate and we are separate. We together have to create a system where both of us, both faculty and the students together can create value. I think that is the crucial aspect. Now there are some questions over here. Now problems with the logistics and the process by faculty create their own videos and online lessons. See, it is not a question of creating one's video. If it is a synchronized lesson, then you just run a lesson in a different medium. See, I can give you the example very interestingly from a marketing angle. Earlier, we had only print media. Okay, so only newspapers. Then the digital media came, and where you started using the digital media. So it becomes a mix. Today, it is a mix of digital media and the print media. So similarly, online is a media, and we need to adjust to that medium. I think that is the critical aspect. When we are talking about a pedagogy, it will be a combination of what can be delivered online, and going forward, when the campuses come up, the campuses open up, it will be a combination of campus and the online. So the production, of course, that is the primary job of the faculty. That how do I plan my lesson? How do I deliver my lesson? And that is where I said that is the biggest challenge. And there I would say a very interesting thing that can happen probably. There is a question, will the students accept substandard quality lessons being deployed online? Now the question, what is going to happen today is, for a school, you can source faculty from anywhere. So because you are not sitting in the campus. So for me, right now, in this term, from tomorrow, I think exams got over. Now there are two faculty delivering sessions, one from Asian Institute of Management in Manila and one from State University of New York. Okay. Now, if I find that my own faculty is not up to the mark, I have the choice to get faculty from anywhere. So that there will be two types of faculty. This is a Kodak moment. I can be very, just like Kodak was the market leader and went off. And if you look at the industry too, there are top end, at the top management, there are people, and then there is the junior management. The middle management from the industry is reasonably gone. Now, this can create two types of faculty. One is the star faculty, who can really prepare and deliver and engage online. And some of them are doing extremely well. And then there is a group of faculty who are more involved in assessment, mentoring, and all that. Now, it is a capability issue. We have to up our game. Otherwise, we will not remain relevant. So for the faculty, this is a challenge. What is the challenge for the institutional leaders? How do we support the faculty to make that happen? So today we are almost having regular meetings with the faculty in hand-holding them how to create online material. So we actually engaged two faculty, one from University of Virginia and one from State University of New York, and plus some of our excellent faculty who can actually do that. We have identified 4 mentor faculty to handle the faculty who needs the support. So we really need to support the faculty in order to make things happen. I think that is how it is going to evolve. And it is a transition. And I do feel that yes, faculty has to really up their game. Are they experts in it? Are they comfortable with technology? See, because a faculty, earlier what happened? For 5 sections, I need 5 faculty. Today, I don't need it. I will have 2-star faculty. And it can be delivered from anywhere in the world. So that's the challenge. So for the faculty, it is important that is quickly to adopt to both the technology and to the teaching learning pedagogy to maintain relevance. I think the challenge is far more from the faculty end rather than from the students' end, because students will be able to access any material anywhere.
So there's also a question on how to prepare students for future remote workplaces. So how do we handle this in the current environment? A lot of students excel due to peer presence. So how do we now build a skill set in the virtual environment?
Okay, so this is a very interesting question. Right now, for example, we are also doing all our normal functioning. Now, how are we doing all our normal functioning? If you look at Microsoft, for example, there is a software, Microsoft Teams. Okay, you can chat, you can do a meeting, you can see each other, you can upload, all your what you call files, you can make a post. So all our meetings have moved to Microsoft Teams. Now, for the student meetings also today, we have the student committees and there is a faculty mentor. Now, all the student meetings have also moved virtual. So the question is, we have to live with this virtual reality. Earlier, we were thinking, just like the way we are interacting with the, what you call faculty who are internationally located. For example, we taught our parents. My parents live in Calcutta. I am staying over here. How do I what you call see them on a WhatsApp video? For a 80-year-old person, it is important to adapt to the WhatsApp video technology. For us, we immediately move to the Teams. I think as we start using that, the adoption will start happening. Okay, so we have to understand now meetings will be virtual only. And most of us, today we are, our parents live somewhere, our brothers live somewhere, our friends live somewhere. Every day we are interacting. As a matter of fact, you think of it, when this technology was not there, we were interacting less. Each of us have our school groups, college groups on WhatsApp, and we are actually doing what you call, every day we do our chats, videos, uploading of songs and all that. Same thing, it will be moving for, when we work virtually.
Yeah, so we have another question, sir, that in one of the institutions that is not being named, while giving online examinations, issues were faced relating to the exam portal and regarding the availability of proper network connection. Now, since exams usually have a time limit that are attached to them, how do you deal with these sort of issues as they might, hamper the examinations being conducted very efficiently? So any insights from you, sir, on this question?
See, the fact that GRE and GMAT is being conducted online is a testimony of the fact that the examination system today has become robust. Okay. The software that we use, if somebody loses connection because of sudden power disruption of other things, they will be coming back and that extra time is given. But what happens is, you have multiple sets of questions being created. The questions which will follow will have a different pattern because you mentioned the degree of difficulty. So it will be jumbled up and getting a different set of questions which will be coming up. That addresses the issue. So even if you are given that extra time and you don't lose out, but you will have a same difficulty question when you start again. Okay, it's difficulty level, but it will not be the same question. So those issues are being addressed, and as I think it's a journey, it will not be a, as I said, it will be a what I call satisfying rather than an optimum solution.
Thank you so much for answering that question. Do you have anybody has any other questions? We have just a little bit of time to take more questions. Dr. Saikat, any comments or any questions from your end?
How do I happen?
It is fantastic. It's a great time to be with Professor Atish, Professor Pavleen, and you also. It was really a nice, indeed, interactive platform. I hope all people will we will come out from this particular abnormal situation, and hopefully our students will can able to adapt this digital world also. Time to time, it's just a matter of time. I'm just
Dr. Saikat, I would like to make a point here.
Yeah.
Okay, the point is, a lot of times we think of a situation as a trouble. Okay, if we now think of the same situation as an opportunity, our lens and perspective will change.
Right.
Okay. So if we think how the pedagogy is going to be, how this online can be combined with the contact sessions. So what will be the pedagogy like? Okay. I think that is one thing which and we as faculty are thinkers. So we have to really think through as to how we combine this.
Actually, we people are always thinking on that. Even we have already launched many things in our university. But the thing is that each and every time we need to address to our students also, because we need to understand their philosophy also, because every time we cannot able to put everything to them. We have to listen to them. We have to make it understand that exactly what is going to be happen in that particular world where they belongs to.
See, there is a question here. No network during exam is actually major issue. Okay. Some students use technology to actually cheat. That is what I said, that if you start after the gap, so 15 minutes gap, and then you get started, degree of difficulty will remain the same. The questions will become different. So the option of cheating again goes. Okay. So the technology also is evolving as the students are becoming, or trying to outsmart. And the solutions will be coming forward. We never thought that we will be able to do what I call like this, or a session like this with Praveen in somewhere in Greater Mumbai, Kritika in Delhi, me in Bangalore, and you in somewhere in Calcutta or West Bengal. I think that is the key difference.
May I add something to whatever Atish sir has said? See, other than, I think one important point is, let's talk about the advantages that we have. First thing, I think limitations of number of students in a classroom, physical space doesn't exist anymore. You can have 100, 200, 500, and it's a boom for star faculty members internationally, right? That's number one. See what are the benefits. So for example, it also gives an opportunity for faculty members to change the classroom every day. For example, like I can conduct my ABCD from here today, tomorrow I'll conduct from some other location. And fortunately, I have a very picturesque Sahyadri mountains from all the sides, and they all look different in different times of the day and different angles, right? I think one of the biggest advantage that we are having with online session that we are not even talking about is there is no physical transportation, right? Other than so there's no traffic jams. Nobody's saying, oh, I got late because there was a traffic jam somewhere, right? Just imagine that so many people not on road, like, even if the lockdown will get over, but still there will be some kind of restriction. People will have some hesitation traveling in crowded trains and all. That is going to continue. The world is not going to be the same forever, right? So let's look at there is several other tiny advantages that this challenge has put us into, and some of the thinkers like you, other people, has to figure out ways to, and all these technological challenges is going to happen, but we'll get sorted out in terms of connectivity and other stuff. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Professor Praveen Mishra, for those parting remarks. So I observe we have no more questions in this session. I'd like to thank each of our speakers for very kindly taking out the time from the busy schedules that they have with classes, exams, assignments, webinars, etc. Thank you so much. A big thank you to Dr. Saikat Maiti for actually being
You're
the
welcome, ma'am.
this entire session. I think this is great that so many of educators are coming, and it's truly it's a collaborative effort. All of us are learning from each other and working together and trying to take Indian education to greater heights. I'd like to thank each and every one of the participants for being with us today. I hope all of you found this session very, very fruitful and productive. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe, keep learning, and please, we hope to see you next time we have
I have got only one point to make, Dr. Maiti, and to everybody. See, we as faculty are learning from each other. Okay. And let us keep this conversation going, because it is important that how we improve ourselves. It is a cycle of continuous improvement.
That's why in India also, the graduate attributes, within the 12 graduate attributes, the 12th graduate attribute is lifelong learning. So
Absolutely.
we have to go for it. Okay. So it's good to be within this platform. Thank you, Kritika, for sharing this wonderful platform for us to learn everything from Professor Atish. Even Praveen is far away from us, but still we are getting connected with each other. That's the beauty of digital world. Okay, so thank you so much for conducting this kind of session for JS University. We really loved it a lot, and we are also looking for much more means productive part from you all so that we can able to share our thoughts. Thank you so much from my side.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Sekar.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kritika.
Thank you so much.